You think Mike Tyson will take another dive?
Oh, we will see what happens with that, but let's get to the men who will pull.
Amidst this Saturday night's main event, there was controversy surrounding various comments from Jesse Ventura. Here he accuses the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight of being rigged. It is assumed Jesse was confusing Jake with Logan Paul, who has been a WWE mainstay since 2022, while Jake beat Tyson by unanimous decision after 8 rounds back in November. Shout out to Joe Tessitore, who nicely transitioned out of that mess. Jesse produced more obnoxious play-by-play during the show, including trashing Damian Priest for beating Drew McIntyre, walking out the cage, quote, like a coward.
How do you win it going out the door?
Well, that's the
I thought you had to go over the top.
Both his
What
feet.
kind of BS is that?
Well, that's how
He
the
can
rules
walk.
work.
He
as
can
we-
walk out the door.
He also completely spoke over the entrances of both men by constantly yapping to Pat McAfee.
Actually, I admire Pat for doing it. He's the second. No, he's
Now
the
in this
second
match,
broadcaster
both
in
competitors will be
history
locked inside
to
the
climb
steel
into
cage.
a ring.
There are
Look out, Breaker now! Over the table! Through Sammy! Off the table!
Saturday night's main event from the 24th of May 2025 opened with the stag tag match featuring Rollins and Breaker against Punk and
By
Zayn.
Punk to the midsection.
Wait a minute!
Over the top! Cover! Kick out at 2!
I'm not so sure Roxanne Perez is gonna appreciate that. There was also a point where Sammy paid tribute to the late great Sabu.
Side, up the top, moonsault takes out Breaker.
Sammy has been hitting the Arabian press for years, but I'm mainly talking about the taunt. This match was a ton of fun though. These Saturday nights usually are much shorter than your average show or pay-per-view, so it felt like there was no warm-up here. It was just 90 miles an hour from the get-go.
No way he takes Rollins out. Breaker.
But eventually, Paul Heyman grabs the leg of Zayn for a distraction where we see the big return of...
Oh my God! Oh my God! Where the big Bronson Reed?
Big Bronson Reed is back for the first time in months.
A super spear from Braun Breaker and a win for Rollins and company.
A banger to open the show as Bronson joins the Heyman faction. And that is one hell of a pickup, I'll be honest. I ultimately figured that the Sami Zayn plot twist made more sense, but I like this too. In my head, when Bronson returned, I figured he didn't need a faction, but if this means both him and Braun Breaker are future world champs, I'll be there no matter what. Also, Braun and Braun in the same faction. If we call it Bronny and LeBron, we could finally make Braun sexuality a thing.
This man, a Stone Cold Stabby to CM Punk.
I am so happy to see Bronson Reed back because that injury was pretty terrifying. I also hope 2 things. First of all, I still think one more member, ideally a woman or a tag team, would help round out this faction. And 2, when they're all holding titles and they look like Evolution, it's gonna be so fire. But next we saw a backstage interview with Chelsea Green.
I will enter my second term as the greatest, first ever, longest reigning, most dangerous United States Women's Champion.
Then it was time for the women's US title to be defended. Zelina Vega against Chelsea Green. You get it.
Now Chelsea Green dropping Zelina.
Overall, this match was okay. I'm not entirely sold on Zelina Vega as a champion. On one hand, I'm happy she's getting this chance to shine, and outside of a few mistakes in ring, she's more than deserving of it. I think back to the moment in Puerto Rico for Backlash, for example, but it feels like something is missing. So many times where she's showed she has dimensions in the past, but right now, she's just smiley babyface with no real personality to me.
Code red. And a win.
I would love to see Zelina Vega turn heel and tap more into that manager personality she used to have. I know she still gets cheered and she's still pretty over, but there's only so many times you can lean on that half-cry emotional face before it gets repetitive. I also don't know what the hell they're doing with Chelsea Green or the Secret Service. They've just consistently been made to look dumber and dumber week by week. I know Chelsea's character is partially airhead adjacent, but she's a tremendous wrestler too. Maybe this is setting up for her to win Money in the Bank, he says optimistically. Although given given that they're setting up for either Alexa Bliss or Julia to win the briefcase right now, I'd say maybe not. Next, it was time for John Cena versus R-Truth, but not before we found out that the Evolution pay-per-view will be returning on Sunday, July 13th, alongside another Saturday night's main event the night before on July 12th, which is the same weekend as AEW's All in Texas. The pettiness between these two companies never ceases to amaze me. Now, for most of us, we're just gonna watch them all, no problem. But if you were the kind of person that had to choose here, say what you will about AEW's form as of late, I don't think anyone is choosing a Saturday night's main event over an All-In pay-per-view. I'm just saying. Now, I am incredibly excited for another Evolution pay-per-view. I loved the first one. So which women's legends are coming back on the road to this pay-per-view? How fast are we gonna get into Brie mode? And is Natty Neidhart announcing the Total Divas reboot on July 13th? Or what? And I hope the Evolution pay-per-view is a yearly thing going forward, as it should have been the whole time. Don't do it just for the sake of being petty or for PR and then forget about it for 7 years again. The women's locker room deserves far better than that.
Childhood hero. John Cena just disrespects the hell out of him.
I need one of those Ron Cena t-shirts yesterday. Also, John, you were looking pretty good. The hair is starting to look nice again.
Truth got Cena up. Truth with an AA. Is he gonna beat Cena in a kick out?
I think the funniest thing about this Cena heel turn is gonna be when he turns face again and his response is just, "My bad, y'all, I was bugging."
Consider. Maybe he has a conscience. So he looked in the eyes of one of his admirers and said, maybe this isn't the way I need to be.
And we seemingly see a glimpse of the old John Cena here.
Oh! Cena went low. AA delivered.
Never mind.
Calling card lately. And now the title.
This match was pretty decent, but given the fact that Cena's title wasn't on the line, I really wish R-Truth would have picked up the win here. Next, we saw a backstage segment between John Cena and Jey Uso before the steel cage match.
Last time I seen you, I threw you out the window, Royal Rumble, Oos.
I'm glad you remember the last time we saw each other. I'm looking forward to the next time I see you.
Why is he talking like he's about to lay out some house rules? But Cena continues in saying if he retired with the title while the world title was around the waist of a YouTuber, that would really ruin wrestling.
Gosh, that's a lot of pressure for the match tonight. Good luck, champ. I'll be watching closely.
He was genuinely speaking as if he was backstage.
Oh yeah. Superplex! Priest coming from the top of the cage!
Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest inside a steel cage was pretty great considering Drew shouldn't even be competing right now after everything his body has been through as of late.
Claymore by McIntyre!
After a brutal run of steel chair spots back and forth between these two, Damian Priest brings back a classic.
Priest with State Concerto!
The crowd chanting one more time is absolutely insane.
And waltzing out of the ring to win the steel cage match.
I'm very interested to see what Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre do next now that this feud is seemingly over. But next it was time for the main event, Jey Uso against Logan Paul for the World Championship.
That kid yeets 4,000 times better than you, Paul.
Overall, I thought this match was so-so. It really exposed that when Logan isn't in there with someone who can make him look much more advanced than he is, he suffers a little bit. AJ Styles being the most recent example of someone who made him look better than he is right now. And for as much as I do like Jey Uso, he's not exactly the greatest in-ring competitor of all time, so I don't think it really meshed as well as I thought it would. I still feel it's inevitable he becomes world champion, if anything, for the crossover appeal and virality. But with Jey, it missed the mark in some spots, and in others, it really felt like it delivered.
Off the apron, there's that snapshot. Lariat, but he got caught by the super kick.
Eventually, just as Jey hits the Uso splash and the referee gets to 2,
Hooks the leg. Oh, Cena! John Cena just...
but not before we'd see the return of this man for the first time since WrestleMania.
Crossroads to Cena!
And to my shock, all of that happening wasn't a disqualification because the referee was out cold. So after one more Uso splash, Jey retains the world title.
Cross splash! Uso
And then Cody sending the crowd home with some final words before Money in the Bank.
But I'm back. I'm ready to fight. We'll see you at Money in the Bank.
Wow, that sounds like a great tag match. I wonder if it's going to turn into a 6-man tag for any particular reason.